So this is a fishing channel, right? We do a lot of light tackle fishing for trout, specifically on this channel. You've seen it. We got a couple nice ones out here today in a heavily fished area. We're going to be posting a video. But since this is a fishing channel, we're going to talk a little bit about fishing access and some of the best, coolest, most iconic fishing access sites in the country. And today, we're at probably one that makes it into the top 5, I would say. At least the top 5, top 3 in the western United States. And that's the $3 Bridge site here in Upper Madison Valley on the Madison River in Montana. You can see the bridge behind me. This was historically a site where anglers came and they put $3 in a box. And they could walk up and down the banks of the river. It's been like that for decades. And then in 2002, concerns started to develop around here where it's going to be sold off to real estate. This is worth a lot of money up here. You see all the big trophy homes nested in all the little nice viewpoints and little canyons and nooks and crannies. It's amazing. I would love to have a property like that, and I'd invite you over if I did. But as you drive up the Madison Valley from Ennis, or you come in from any side, you just see the trophy homes dotted. And so it is a still very open landscape, but this part was historically for fishing, and fishermen love it. So great people and great groups came together to make it happen, right? We had Yvonne Chenard, Patagonia. We had Craig Matthews, Western Rivers Conservancy. Of course, many of the agencies now. This site's managed by Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks. One of the top fish and wildlife management agencies in the country, managing a vast landscape of wildlife and fisheries resources. So this is an iconic site. I've been here over half a dozen times myself. This is my second day here in this trip. You'll see some videos from yesterday where it was snowing. So I want to bring to attention on my channel some of the most amazing fishing access sites that you can come to, park your car for free, not for $3 anymore, and walk over 3 miles of stream. Now, I will tell you, you'll run into other people here. Even when it's 31 degrees and snowing in October, you'll see other people here, less than there is today. But this is amazing. If you want to fish pocket water, if you want to fish classic trout water, if you want to use every fly and technique in the box, this is a place where you can come and do it. Of course, I'm here on the spinning pole showing you guys, amongst all the fly fishermen, how to get it done on the spinning pole. But yeah, let's get into it. I want to kind of have I don't want to kind of have, I want to really have, and I will have a segment of my channel devoted towards amazing fishing access sites that you guys can come to. Type them in Google Maps, find your way here just like I did. This one's easy to find. It's more than beautiful. It's almost heavenly out here. But as part of this exercise on my channel, I'll just kind of blow through 20 facts if I can get them. I have some notes here, so bear with me. But this is the Upper Madison Valley. It's very geologically rich. The mountains you're looking at in the back here, those are fault block mountains, basically where the ground lifted and the ground fell down. And you see these all around Montana, the fault block ranges where there's straight ranges straight up to the sky. That's the Madison Range, fault block range. It's in what's called Montana's Basin and Range Geologic Province. And then as well, also what you can see here is the multiple terraces. This is a heavily glaciated environment. You can see this large round boulder and all the round boulders around here. This is glaciated material moved by glaciers, and the river is carved through it. I'm not going to get too much into it, but around the corner up the road, we'll go fishing up there tomorrow, I think, is Quake Lake. There was an earthquake. These mountains were formed by earthquakes. There was a quake there in the 60s, I believe, formed Quake Lake. Madison River flows through and drains through that. And has worked all this material below through the years and decades and millennia. And you can see the different terraces, and all that's filled with this round, gravelly material pushed through by the glaciers. I'm not a geologist, so if I get anything wrong here, please jump in and correct me in the comments. But you'll see these features all over the Madison Valley, and I think there's a lot of gravelly material. Doesn't make it great here for irrigation, so you don't see a lot of irrigation in places. You do, but not everywhere. The the pivots and so on like you see elsewhere lower in the valley maybe. The ground just drains very well. And you notice that as you get down to the banks of the Madison, there's this amazing spring complex that just pours out of the slopes that I'm standing on all the way up the valley here, where it's basically muddy. And because there's so many fishermen walking through it, and the water just pours out of the ground, this spring water from the mountains. You know, there's another range of fault block mountains over here, that range that you can see out there in front of me. Cold, clean water just pours in here. So it's just a trout factory. It's trout heaven. It's definitely fishing heaven. It's a place that I would put in, if you're a fly fisherman for trout, it's in the top 3. I don't know what the other top 2 are, but this place is in the top 3 for sure. It's close to nowhere. It's probably 2 hours from Bozeman, an hour and 45 minutes from Bozeman, but easy to get to. I flew in on the airport, into the airport, used my son's car over at the college, and have buzzed up here 2 days in a row. Yesterday, as you can tell, there was some snow. This is what's left. So it's a very geologically rich area, which makes it a very wildlife and fish abundant area. You know, like I said, in 2002, there was kind of a threat where there might be some development in here, so people stepped in. And so what you have now is about 3 miles of access, a bunch of different conservation easements. You can look on your Onyx map. There's block management in here for hunting. You know, this is a section of the Madison. When you drive up it, you see it, and it's known as the 50-mile riffle. You know, everyone's got a boat. And so how do you fish this, you know? And so you just find the pockets. You find the slots, and you find the pockets. The fish that you'll see me catch, they're just chubby rainbows. You'll see that I caught those in a very distinct kind of converging area in the middle of the river where there's a lot of converging pockets, and probably fishermen have a hard time getting to that. And so you'll see there's a lot of fishermen out here, but you can sit back and just watch them and kind of see how they're fishing as opposed to how you might do it. And I'd suggest to get on something a little bit meaty, maybe a jig fly or a streamer in some way. Even a streamer underneath an indicator, or a jig fly underneath an indicator, and really work it through some of these pockets. Let it bounce on the bottom. And you'll see in the video today that I caught fish basically Euro nymphing with my fish finder jig about 10 feet out from me. I don't want to break all the excitement. You know, we only got it on one camera. But again, you know, you set your expectations when you come to a place like this. This is a very, very popular spot. And so there's a lot of people here. Yesterday it was snowing and wind blowing sideways, and there was people here. You had more of the river to yourself. Today you kind of had to be a little bit more patient. There's lots of ground to walk around on here. And one thing you'll notice when you get here is things are not as close as they appear. You know, walking up from the bridge this way to the next highway, which I can see, maybe you can. It doesn't look that far, but it's a ways, and you're trampling through kind of all this rounded glacial boulder. So it's a pretty good adventure, you know. This is a great place. It's all walk and wade in here. And so the boats might come through, but I think they basically get around this. They have to get out and fish. They can't boat through here. Where the rest of the river, there's a ton of boating. You'll see that. As far as the elevation goes here, you know, we're at 6,000 feet, just over 6,000 feet. So you're looking at mountains that are in the 9 to 10,000 foot range, I believe. 8 to 10, maybe a little higher than that. Of course, Yellowstone Park is just over the corner, or just around the corner and up the hill. Hebgen Lake. Madison comes out of Hebgen Lake, flows down, gets into Quake Lake, then comes down here and flows all the way down, meets with the Jefferson and the Gallatin, and makes the Missouri and flows north. So you take to the west, you can go into Idaho, Henry's Lake, Idaho. So this is just a fishing-rich place where we could probably pull out within an hour's drive of here another river in the top 5 places that you should go to. But we'll save that for next time. We're here at $3 Bridge, Upper Madison Valley, Montana, someplace that you need to come if you haven't been here yet. Check out my videos. see how I fished it. It's pretty windy here, so prepare for some wind. But it still fishes really well in October. You'll see I caught some really, really nice fish. But thanks for watching, and come back again.